If you're over 60 and feeling exhausted, noticing that your performance in bed isn't what it used to be, and fearing that your best years are behind you, pay close attention. What I'm about to share might surprise you, but it could also change everything. 3 basic nuts, yes, nuts, could be the secret to increasing your energy, regaining your vigor, and improving your blood circulation as well as stamina like you haven't experienced in years. No pills, no supplements, just natural and real foods that fight the slowdowns of aging. I am Dr. Laura, and I have spent over 3 decades helping men restore their strength, confidence, and masculinity. I can tell you right now that as you get older, it doesn't mean giving up, but rather being smarter about how you nourish your body. Most men don't know this, but these 3 nuts support better circulation, firmer erections, and stronger hormonal levels while working with your biology and not against it. In this video, I will show you how they work, why they are more powerful when used together, the #1 mistake older men make that sabotages their results, and the simple daily routine that can help you feel like yourself again. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and activate the bell so you don't miss any future videos designed to help men over 60 feel stronger, more energized, and more confident every day. And if you find this video helpful, write 1 in the comments. Otherwise, write 0. Your comments help me create content that truly supports your health and vitality. Now, let's get into the meat of the matter, starting with the first powerful dried fruit that every man over 60 should know about. This fruit plays a critical role in restoring blood flow, improving circulation, and laying the foundation for stronger and lasting performance. Let's talk about the dried fruit that has earned the title of King of Circulation. The first dried fruit is the walnut, the king of circulation. I still remember one of my patients, Tom, 68 years old, who came to my office looking dejected. He said to me, "Doctor, it's as if my body is no longer responding. I want to be with my wife, but it's not working like it used to." I hear this a lot more often than you think, and in Tom's case, as in many others, the problem wasn't just desire but blood flow. That's why the first dried fruit we need to talk about is the humble walnut. It may not sound like much, but it is one of the most powerful foods you can eat to support circulation. And if your circulation isn't strong, everything else falls apart. Erection, energy, mental clarity, it all starts and ends with blood flow. Walnuts are packed with arginine, an amino acid that helps produce nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide is the gas that relaxes your blood vessels and allows your blood to flow more freely. When you are younger, your body produces a lot of this, but after 60, levels drop rapidly. That's where walnuts come in, helping to restore this natural function, keeping your vessels open, flexible, and responsive. They are also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammation and improve cardiovascular health, 2 things that matter deeply to any man looking to perform at his best. I have had men tell me that after adding a small handful of walnuts each night, their energy returned in just a few weeks. They woke up with better morning erections, felt more alert, and had more stamina during the day. It's not a miracle. It's biology working as it should once you give it the proper support. And the beauty of it is that nuts are easy to incorporate. No pill, no prescription, just a natural tool that your body recognizes. And that's how to use them. So if you've been feeling sluggish, if your erections haven't been as firm, or if your general libido seems low, this simple change could start to reverse that. But nuts are only part of the equation because the next dried fruit we're going to learn about not only supports blood flow but also directly increases the strength and endurance of erections in a way that has been proven by clinical studies. You won't want to miss it. If you're still here and these ideas resonate with you, write #1 in the comments so I know you're with me and this message is reaching the right men. Now, let's move on to the second powerful dried fruit that could help restore your strength and confidence. The second dried fruit is the pistachio, the powerful one for erections. A few years ago, I had a patient named Ricardo, aged 72. He was generally healthy, but silently frustrated. He told me, "It's like I'm there mentally, but physically my body isn't responding." He had tried pills, but they left him feeling uncomfortable, dizzy, red, and frankly embarrassed. What he wanted was a natural solution, something that works with his body, not against it. That's when I introduced him to pistachios. Most people think of pistachios as a simple snack, but what they don't know is that they are one of the few foods that have been clinically proven to improve erectile function naturally. In fact, in a fascinating study done in Turkey, men who added pistachios to their daily diet for just 3 weeks experienced significant improvements in the firmness, duration, and overall sexual satisfaction of their erections. No drugs, no tricks, just real food with a real impact. Pistachios are high in arginine, just like walnuts, which helps the body increase nitric oxide production. This means better blood flow, especially to the areas where you need it most. But what sets pistachios apart is their combination of antioxidants, healthy fats, and plant sterols, nutrients that support vascular health, reduce inflammation, and even decrease bad cholesterol levels. All of this translates into one thing: better performance with more confidence and less frustration. When Ricardo added a small handful of pistachios to his afternoon routine, usually right after lunch, he started to notice changes within weeks. He had better morning erections, more spontaneous desire, and best of all, the feeling that his body was finally responding again. He told me, "It's like something has clicked, like my system has turned back on." If you have felt disconnected from your physical self, or if performance anxiety has started to show up, pistachios could be the silent solution you have been overlooking. They are affordable, easy to find, and surprisingly powerful. But what if I told you there is another dried fruit that not only helps with blood flow or the strength of erections, but actually supports your hormonal levels from the inside out? It is a real game changer for testosterone, energy, and even prostate health. This next one might be the most important of all. Let's talk about it. The third dried fruit is the Brazil nut, the hormone restorer. Let me tell you about Gary. He was 66 years old, lively, active, and still in love with his wife, but something was wrong. He told me, "I don't feel like myself. My energy isn't there. I'm not as interested in sex. It's like my body is slowing down." Although he was fighting against it, he was doing everything right. He was walking every day, eating healthy, but something deeper was out of balance. That's when I asked him what he knew about selenium. He looked at me confused, like most men. He had never heard of it. That's where Brazil nuts come in. They are not your average snack. Brazil nuts are loaded with selenium, one of the most powerful but often overlooked minerals for men's health. Just 1 or 2 a day can dramatically support testosterone production, improve sperm health, and even protect the prostate. The problem is, selenium is not something your body produces. It depends entirely on what you eat. And as you get older, this becomes more and more critical. When Gary started eating just 1 Brazil nut every morning, things started to slowly change. At first, he had a better mood, less brain fog, and more drive. But by the end of the first month, he noticed something else. His libido was back. It wasn't forced. It was natural, as if his body had been waiting for permission to feel like a man again. The beauty of Brazil nuts is their simplicity. You don't need a handful. In fact, too much can do more harm than good. But this 1 nut a day becomes a kind of hormonal insurance, keeping your testosterone in check, your energy steady, and your performance ready. If you felt your spark was dying out, you were tired for no reason, or your desire just wasn't there, this nut could be the silent reboot your body has been waiting for. Now, what happens when you combine these 3 nuts, walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts, in a simple daily routine? The answer might surprise you, because it's not just about the nutrients. They actually work together in a way that amplifies their individual benefits. Let's explore why this combination is more important than most men realize. If you're still watching and find this information valuable, write number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and engaging. Now, let's move on to point number 4. Why these 3 nuts work best together. One thing I've learned after decades of working with men is that the body doesn't heal in isolation. It thrives in synergy with the right parts working together, not just separately. And that is exactly what happens when you incorporate walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts into a daily routine. Each dried fruit on its own offers incredible benefits, but when combined, they do something remarkable. They support and amplify each other in a way that your body really feels.
Let me share a story that stood out to me.
A patient named Dane, 71 years old, had tried each dried fruit at different times over the years, but without much consistency. He would eat pistachios for a while, then forget about them. A few months later, he would read about walnuts and try them.
It was always a hit or miss.
He came to me saying, "Doctor, I have tried everything, but I don't feel any different." So I asked him to try something different, not just eating the nuts, but engaging with all three together every day for 21 days. What happened after those 3 weeks was amazing. Dan came back and said, "I don't know what's going on, but I have more energy in the morning. I feel lighter, and my wife has noticed I'm more present." That last word stuck with me, presence. Because that's what this combination gives you, not only physical improvements, but a renewed sense of being completely alive in your body again. The walnut supports blood flow, opening the pathways that keep your heart, your brain, and erections strong. The pistachio builds on that foundation, improving the quality and duration of erections. And the Brazil nut silently restores your hormonal engine, giving you the advantage from the inside out. Outwardly, it's a comprehensive approach that covers the 3 most common challenges men over 60 face: circulation, performance, and libido. And here's the best part. It doesn't require big changes to your life. It's a 5-minute daily habit with powerful returns. But of course, even the best plan can be sabotaged by one common mistake. This is something I see all too often and could undo all your progress without you realizing. Let me show you what it is and how to avoid it. Point 5. The mistake most men make. One of the hardest parts of my job is not diagnosing problems, but helping men see that they have been silently letting themselves down. Not in a dramatic way, not all at once, but slowly over time. It usually starts with a shrug, a little less energy, a little less desire, maybe a few moments of discomfort in bed. And instead of asking why or looking for solutions, most men just ignore it with one, "I guess it's just part of getting older." This mentality, this silent resignation, is the biggest mistake. It's not what your body does that harms you the most, but what you no longer do in response. Wait, ignore, assume nothing will change. That's what slowly steals your vitality, not age pressy. I remember talking to a man named Bill, 69, who was retired and still full of humor, but there was a heaviness when he said, "I just thought this was my new normal." This broke my heart because I knew it wasn't true. Bill didn't need a miracle. He didn't need to turn back the clock 30 years. He just needed a small change in the way he approached his health, a willingness to not neglect himself. So I encouraged him to do one simple thing. Start. Start with dried fruit. Start walking again. Start believing that progress was still possible. And within weeks, the man who thought he was fading away started feeling like himself again, more alert, more alive, and deeply connected to his body. The mistake is not getting older. The mistake is assuming that getting older means giving up. Doesn't it? If you stay curious, take action, and give your body what it needs to function the way it was designed. And that brings us to the final piece of this journey, the one that will make it easy to take everything you've learned and turn it into a simple and sustainable daily habit. No confusion, no guesswork, just a clear path that you can follow each day to feel stronger, more energized, and completely alive again. Let's go through this together. Point 6. Your daily vitality routine. I've had so many men come to me overwhelmed by all the health advice out there, supplements piled on their counters, half-read books, advice from friends, doctors, the internet, everything. I do different, and I always tell them the same thing. Lasting change doesn't come from doing more, but from doing the right things consistently. That's why I designed this daily routine to be simple, sustainable, and profoundly effective. It doesn't require a gym membership, complicated meal plans, or a dozen pills, just a few intentional choices. made every day that work together to rebuild what age has tried to wear down. Here's what I recommend. In the morning, start with a Brazil nut, just one. It's small, easy to remember, and provides a potent dose of selenium to support your testosterone and protect your prostate. Many of my patients keep a small jar in their bathroom, a nut right after brushing their teeth, without excuse, without forgetting. At noon, take a handful of unsalted pistachios, especially if you have felt a drop in energy in the afternoon. They will help stabilize your blood sugar, improve circulation, and provide your body with the nutrients needed to build erection strength and endurance. Plus, they are great as a snack. In the evening, about an hour before bed, take a small handful of walnuts. This not only supports blood flow repair overnight, but also calms inflammation and helps prepare your body for rest and recovery. Think of it as fuel for your body while you sleep. That's all 3 small steps repeated daily. And yet, I have seen these simple choices radically change the lives of men who thought their best days were behind them. They gained energy, confidence, and intimacy, not by chasing perfection, but by honoring their bodies with the right fuel at the right time. But before I finish, I want to leave you with something even more important, a message that goes beyond nutrition or routine. Because behind every physical transformation is a mental transformation. What I will share in the last few moments could be the belief shift that will change the way you experience the rest of your life. Stay with me. Conclusion. If you've made it this far, I want to take a moment to speak to you not as a doctor behind a desk, but as someone who has listened to hundreds of men just like you, men who have felt their strength fade, their energy diminish, and their confidence silently slip away, men who have loved deeply, worked hard, provided for others, and who suddenly found themselves asking, "And where have I gone?" This question is more common than you think, and it's not a weakness to ask it. It's a sign that you still care. You still want to feel alive, wanted, strong. And the truth is you can. You have now learned 3 simple but powerful foods. Walnuts to open your blood flow and keep your circulation strong. Pistachios to re-energize your performance and support natural, long-lasting erections. And Brazil nuts to silently restore your hormonal balance and protect your prostate. With just a small daily dose, each of them has the potential to make a difference. But together, they work in harmony, supporting your heart, your hormones, and your virility. This is not an exaggeration. This is biology. This is how the body works when we stop fighting it and start feeding it the way nature intended. The key now is consistency. A Brazil nut in the morning, a handful of pistachios at lunch, a few walnuts before you go to bed. These are not just snacks. They're statements. They say, "I'm not done yet. I have still so much to give, and I deserve to feel strong in my body." Because true transformation is not just in how you feel physically, but in how you begin to carry yourself again, straighter, more engaged, more connected to the people you love. I've seen it happen too many times to doubt it. I've seen the spark return, shoulders straighten, smiles return, relationships deepen, not because of some magic cure, but because one man chose to believe his life wasn't over just because a calendar said he was over 60. So if today's message has awakened something in you, if even a part of it has resonated with that part of you that has been silent for too long, I invite you to begin. Start today with small steps and consistency. Nourish your body, regain your strength, and remind yourself and the world that your best years are not behind you. They have only just begun. You still have time. You still have power. You still have a man worth fighting for.
Fight. Stay strong.
If this video helped you in any way, if it gave you hope, clarity, or even just a reminder that your health still matters, I would appreciate it if you took a moment to like this video. It lets the platform know that this content is valuable and helps more men over 60 find the direction they deserve. If you know someone who could benefit from this, maybe a friend, a brother, or a father, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. You never know who you might impact just by passing this along. I would also love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share what resonated with you, what you plan to try, or even just write, "I'm starting today, so I know you are taking that important first step." Your comments and stories fuel this mission. Every little bit helps support more men with honest advice, practical tools, and the motivation to feel their best. Thank you for watching and taking charge of your health.